guys. How have you guys been? I know it's been a minute. I haven't posted anything in so long, but I'm back now. This July I read 9 books, but I'm going to talk to you about just six. Like just six are worth talking about. The first book I'm going to talk about is Daisy Jones and the Six. This book has been on my TBR for so long, like so long. It was written in uh how do I know? 2022. No. 2019, which is a long time ago. But I think I found out about this book like maybe last year. So it's very popular on Book Talk. It's one of those books that nobody says anything bad about. Like people love it so much. There's even a show on Prime about the book. So like I was really looking forward to reading this. It's also written by one of my favorite writers, Taylor Jenkins Reid. So she's one of those people that she makes you feel like she makes me feel a lot. So I love reading her books. But this book was a bit of a letdown for me. I won't lie. It wasn't bad, but I was expecting 5 stars, and it didn't give me 5 stars. My sisters also didn't like it. Like they could not. Yeah, but but it still made me feel the way her writing makes me feel. Like she makes you feel a lot. Like you feel there's sadness, there's happiness, there's you shake your feet. It's she writes so well, right? So this book was about she's also one of the people she's also okay with all the books I've read. I think she's the writer or author that writes sibling love so well, and I love sibling love because I have a lot of siblings. I have 4 siblings. We are 5. Yeah, so I love sibling love so much, and she writes so well about siblings. So in this book, there were 2 brothers who started a band. They fought for each other, they reconciled. Like it was a lot. But yeah, so they started a band. They were called the Six. So there were 6 people in the band. They were called the Six. And then Daisy was someone else that used to sing, and then she joined their band for an album, and it was a lot. It was a lot. But in this book, I got so many quotes. This was also the first book that made me that this book also tempted me. Like it was the first time I was tempted to annotate my book, like to draw lines on my book. It was the very first time. I really liked it, but it wasn't Taylor Jenkins Reid. It wasn't what I expected from her, right? I expected 5 stars. Yeah. So what else do I want to say about this book? So if you love like Hollywood, old school Hollywood vibes, Jackie Collins vibes, you should definitely read this book. If you also love bands, you should also read this book. Yeah, so that's that. So the next book I read was Patsy. I read this for book club. We decided to divide it into 2 parts. So the book is made up of 5 parts. So we decided to do 1 to 3 in July, and then 4 and 5 in August. And I think that was the best decision we made. Like we've made in that book club so far. Because just 1 to 3, we had so much to talk about. Like we spent 3 hours talking about just this part, and we still had so much more to say. So if you are a member of any book club, or or you just want to read a book, right? This is a book to read. What's that? This is the book to read. What am I going to say about this book? So this book was about Patsy from Jamaica. It was about her relationship with herself, with her daughter, with her mom, with her friend. Just shows like her struggles. Yeah, so Patty wasn't really a likable character, so it took away from the book for me. But the issues in the book and the writing style in general was just amazing. This is my first book by Nicole Dennis Penn, and I'm going to be on the lookout for more of her books because it was just so good so far. Yeah. So the next book I read was Zikora by Chimamanda. And that book just made it click in my head that Chimamanda is who she says she is. Like she is up there with every other good top person, right? She is who she says she is, in my opinion. So I've read a lot of her books. I've read like almost all her books, and I always just felt that they were. It's just writing. She's just writing. That's how writing's supposed to be. That's how they're meant to explain. The writing is meant to make you feel, right? But in the past, like let's say 3 years, I've also read a lot of books by African authors and by authors in general, and she is she's up there, right? She's up there. So Zikora, so I knew Zikora was supposed to be a short book. I think it was 30 pages or something ridiculous. But I knew it was going to be short, but when I finished it, I was like, I wanted more. I wanted to know what happened to this person and that person. I really wanted more. I think there were just like 6 characters in that whole book, but I really wanted more. I felt like it wasn't wrapped up properly. I felt like there were still some holes that needed to have been filled. But when I was talking to my friend about it, my friend that I read it with, we just came to the conclusion that I think the part that needed to be handled was handled. So, in my opinion, I think the main premise of the book was just her relationship with her mom, and they fixed that end. So that's that. Like the book ended well. Yeah. So I have some other short books from her. I have the other short one. She has some very short pocket-sized books. I have I haven't read those ones. I read all her big books, so I have to read those soon, right? Yeah, so I really liked it. I really liked it. I'm gonna have a shelf for Chimamanda books. Yeah, okay. So we've gotten to the books I read during my 24-hour readathon. I try to do that once a month, and it's usually a blast. Like I look forward to my 24-hour readathon. I make time for it, right? So, and I usually read a minimum of 3 books on that day. I've decided now, like, so at the beginning I used to like read for 24 hours straight, my eyes will be red. 24 hours straight, but I've decided that when you are feeling sleepy you should sleep, so I use the timer method now. I read whenever I want to stop and do something. I pause the time, do whatever I have to do, come back and play again. So I have dinner and watch a movie. I um I sleep for like 2 hours or more, slightly more. And then, yeah, and then it's more enjoyable this way rather than just staying up and drinking coffee. Even though coffee doesn't make me stay up, staying up and struggling to read for 24 hours. So this way is more enjoyable. So this was the first one I read this in my last readathon. I finished yesterday evening. This was the first book I read. Sword Hatcher by Cassandra Clare. This is my first Cassandra Clare book. So many people said good things about it. George Martin, the writer of Game of Thrones, Holly Black, Leah Badugo, so many top writers. And then on Book Talk too, people really like it. People also love her like YA series. She usually writes YA, but then she decided to dip her toes into adult books, and this was her first one. So I read it, and it was a bit underwhelming because I expected so much, right? I expected like 5 stars, but it was a bit underwhelming for me. It was still a good book. I liked her writing style. I liked some of the characters in the book. I liked the vibe that the book brought for me. It's a typical fantasy book. Like it's a really good book, good fantasy book. Um, yeah, but what I didn't like about the book was that she describes a lot. Like she something happened, she would describe, and it made the book very long. The book was about 604 pages, so at about halfway I just stopped. Like I told myself, Amaka, there are so many books that you need to read in this life, so there's nothing wrong in stopping for a bit and coming back to it, or just stopping in general. But I'm going to come back to it, so I stopped. And then, yeah, so what I didn't like about the book was that I didn't like the descriptions, and then I also didn't like the love interest in the book. So fantasy readers have divided fantasy books into two. There are the romantasy books, which is usually a romance book with fantasy as the subplot, right? Yeah. And then there are the fantasy romance books, which are fantasy books with romance as the subplot, like sprinkle of romance here and there. But still, the romance has to give. In this one, the romance was not given. I didn't like the love interest at all. Even the main characters, I like one of the main characters. Yeah, so that was that. But her writing style, and then the vibe, like as in you feel like you're inside the book. Yeah, that's that. So the next book I read was This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. This is the second book in a series. They didn't tell us what the series is called, but the second book in the series. The first one was Before I Let Go, which was very good. I think I gave that one a 4 stars. I liked that one a little bit more than this one. So this one was about Soledad. Soledad was one of the friends of the main character in the last book. Soledad was one of my favorite characters in that book. I really liked her. She was so nice. I really liked her. Um, what else do I want to say about this book? I really liked her, and I also liked the fact that this book was about more mature, older people. So I read a lot of fantasy, and in fantasy, the main characters are usually 16, 17, 18, at most 22. So, and I always feel like an adbire reading, like, Amaka, you're not meant to be reading this. But this book, they were slightly older. The main character in this book was 41. She was 41 and things went crazy for her and she still got her life back together. It was about an older character, which was nice to read because I rarely read stuff like that. Yeah, so it was a good book. If you like romance, you should read it. It's a good book. And also another thing, Kennedy Ryan writes about serious issues in her book. So it's still romance, but then they talk about deep things, like very, very deep things, which is nice. So that's that. This was the last book I read in my readathon and the last book I've read so far in July. You know when they say last but not the least, this book is what they were talking about. Like they created that phrase because of this book. Piers Brown is legit. Today is 26th of July. As of today, Piers Brown is my best author in this world, in this life. Yeah, so this book is the second book in the Red Rising series trilogy. You guys know how I gushed about Red Rising last month. This book is like way better. I think I'm gonna have to go back and review all my ratings. Like this book. Okay, right. Let me walk you guys through my reading of this book. So when I started it, everything was going well. It was the last book I read in my readathon, so I was getting not sleepy, but I was not on my 100%. But it was going well. I was liking it. Then we got to the middle part where they were in space, and there were some things I didn't understand, like space stuff. I'm not a sci-fi person. I didn't watch Star Wars. I didn't like Star Wars. So like there's some things I did not understand, but I'm like, let me just keep going. And then but the plot twists and then the plot in general and then the emotions I feel, happiness, sadness, so far, that it's gonna be 4 stars. That's fine. Then I got to the last one third of this book. Like the last one third of this book, and I was mind blown. Like mind blown. I don't think I've ever read anything like what I read in the last one third of this book. It was crazy. When I finished it, my hand was on my head for like 10 minutes. I was just like this on that couch. I was just like this. I was just like this. I was like, what the heck? Then I was making dinner. I was thinking about it. My heart was beating, beating, beating. I was like, what is going on with this book? What is going on with this man? Why is he breaking my heart? Like he broke my heart to pieces. So book one ended on a like cliffhanger. It was crazy. I had to run to the library to get this one, and I found it. I was so happy. So book one ended, and in book one, there were two friends who were not supposed to be friends. Like they were it was so unlikely that they'd be friends, but they became best friends, right? And they had a big fight, like a big fight. And I was looking forward to them mending it, but the way book one ended, it didn't seem like mending could happen, right? So book two, I was like, oh yes, book two, things will happen, and oh, something else happened in the book, and they can never, ever, ever, ever be friends. And then the end of this book, they can never, ever, ever be friends, and they are my two best characters. This book had it was so much. It was so much. It's so good. Then I thought maybe, that sometimes when you read like a book and then you go online to see what people are saying and people are giving it 2 stars, giving it 3 stars, saying it's not all that. Every review I read, everybody was like me. There are people that even said they cried in this book. Ah! If there's anything you guys are going to take from this whole video, go and read this book. Take this part. Go and read the series, Red Rising, then this one. You might think sci-fi is not scary, you'll be fine. Like you'll be fine. Even if you're a romance reader, read this book. You will like it. Best book ever so far as of July 2024. Yeah. Yeah, so that's all guys. Those are all the books I want to talk about. This weekend is my last weekend in North Carolina. I've been here for a bit, and I'm not going to be here for a long time, so I'm going to go out tonight and soak up the city. Yeah, so I might take you guys along. Let's see how it goes. If not, thank you for watching. I promise to be good in August, like once a week, twice a week. I'll be posting videos. Yeah, so that's that. Bye guys.
Remember the days we were young, wild and free, basic getting sprung. We used to dance the night away, hang out the whole next day, laughing, having fun.
Hi guys, I'm back. So whenever I go to people's houses and they have books, I usually look through to see books that I've read or I have. So this is my sister's bookshelf. Let's see which of the books I've read and I have. So most of the ones that I've read, I have them. So let's go. So I've read Purple Hibiscus, Beat Collector, Stay With Me. I have Homegoing. I haven't read it yet. I've read half of Yellowstone. I've read Baba Shaki's Wife. I've read this. I read this. I have this. I haven't read it yet. I've read this. 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 I read a lot. I read this. I read this. This is what we are reading now. Americana. Yes, I've read it. I've read Seven Husbands. I haven't read this, but I have it. I read Daisy Jones. Oops. I've I haven't read There Was a Country. I've read this. I've read this. I've read this. I haven't read this. I've read this. I have. I haven't read this. Nope. 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 I've watched this. I've read this. I've read this. And bottom. I've read this. I haven't read this. Nope. 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 Yes. 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 Nope. Yes. Nope. 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 Have I read this one? No. Nope. Nope. Back up. No, I've watched this. I have this. I haven't read it yet. I've watched this. So good. I haven't read. No, 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 no. I've watched this. I've watched this. I have 2 copies of this. I haven't read it yet. I think I've watched a few episodes. I've watched a few episodes. That's that. No, I've watched a few episodes of this one. I've watched this one. No, I have this and I read it a while ago, a long time ago. Forrest Gump, I've watched this This I haven't read. I have um nope, 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 nope. I have 1984. I have the book thief. um no, yes, no, 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 no. Then down here I have Handmaid's Tale. I have the Malala book. I have this. No, no. Then last shelf. I think these are her classics. I have this. I don't have this. It was so expensive when I went to buy it. I have this. I have this. I don't have this. No, no, no. I think I have this. I've read this. I have this. I've read this. I read it last month. Very good. I read this. I think this is my book. Yeah. So no. I have this. I have this. I have this. I have this. And then very last shelf. Uh, I have becoming. No, I don't have that. I have this Bible they gave us in school, Lee University. I still have my copy. Um, I haven't read any of these books. I read this one. It's like a devotion, I think. Um, I read this, my auntie's book, my mom's book, my grandpa's book. Yeah, my grandpa's second book. And then lastly, best series in the world, Harry Potter. I have these guys. A different edition though, but I have these guys. And I've read them. Okay, that's it. Beautiful shelf.
Hey.